Welcome everybody to the BOCE, the Battle of Central Europe Season 3, as we actually for once get the game to start before the schedule. I know it's pretty damn crazy, but here we are. We're of course HeflaTV, the English coverage for you, and we're gonna bring you mYinsanity versus Power Rangers for this second match between those two teams in Group D. Yesterday, Power Rangers, they won 2-0 against mYinsanity, quite comfortably so as well. All in all, mYinsanity didn't have the best of days yesterday, so maybe they can just get off to a better start today, but we'll see. I'm of course Coucher, and I'm gonna be joined by GrandysV today. How you doing?
Doing wonderfully, and this should be a decent start to the day, but yeah, as you said, mYinsanity, yesterday, it just wasn't their day. They had some stand-ins at the end of it, and they didn't really have a full roster throughout the day, and I don't know, it just seemed to be an off day for them, but it looks like today is at least starting out better, and hopefully they can find their mojo or something, and maybe hope to get back into the top three slots, as the top three do get to go on to the next phase of the tournament. Only one team's actually eliminated.
Oh no, it's actually all the teams go to the next phase, but the top three go to the winner bracket. The first place goes to the second round of the winner bracket, whereas the second and third go to the first round, and fourth is just straight to the loser bracket.
Oh, very well. They seem to be changing around every so often, so
Yeah,
everybody's safe.
everybody's safe, so it came as a huge surprise to me as well when I found out. It's like, what? Nobody's actually dropping out from the group stage? I mean, why the hell do we have so many group stage games then? I thought, like, I mean, if you play two game series against each team, then you're bound to, like, get the best kind of results, so whoever falls out will be justified, but nope, not happening. But coming to this draft here, Ogre Magi first pick for mYinsanity. It's a support hero that quite a lot of teams just seem to favor as highly, but Power Rangers, they do love the IO, as well as they played a couple of Legion Commanders, but IO Witch Doctor to start with.
Yeah, it's kind of interesting to see both the IO and which are the same. I was thinking, like, IO plus one and maybe they'd fill the footer with all support off the Power Rangers are going.
Oh, just a second, I'm gonna recall you because at least you're going all robo for me, so gonna recall Skype just fast. And, well, hopefully it's better this time around. It was fine to begin with, but then suddenly it went to shit, but maybe now.
Okay, this is going to be the next for mYinsanity, a very aggressive supporting duo to start off.
Okay, I'm gonna keep my fingers crossed that it actually fixed itself. It started robo, then went a little bit better, so we'll see. If it keeps on going robo, I might have to go solo until it fixes itself, or I don't know, but fingers crossed. In any case, Visage Ogre for mYinsanity. Throw, of course, immediately banned. Wraith King, funny enough, banned by Power Rangers. Were you expecting a Wraith King to come out for Power Rangers here?
Not at all, especially as a core Wraith King. I don't know, it would have just felt really awkward with what they already have, and I don't know, Wisp Wraith King, it's not the worst of duos, but then again, it's not the best.
I mean, I mean, Wraith King, it can be a strong hero, but it has its limitations. I guess IO does help him with the biggest thing, just getting kited around, so you will get the extra movement speed from Tether, so I guess it could have been nice, but Power Rangers going for a Gyrocopter, and it feels to me that they might be taking a really aggressive route here. I mean, IO, Gyrocopter, Witch Doctor wouldn't be the worst tri-lane really. IO, make sure with the Tether that Gyrocopter is always going to be on target with the Rocket Barrage, just setting things up with the Paralyzing Cast potentially. Of course, running tri-lanes against a Visage tri-lane might be scary, so they might go safe or maybe just go for some form of dual lanes even if IO somebody mid. We'll see.
Yeah, even if they don't go aggressive with this combination, Gyrocopter is more than happy just to have IO stack for him and then farm those up later with Flat Cannon or what have you. So, I don't know, this combination, it's pretty well rounded, and because they have the Visage and Ogre on the enemy side, I doubt that they will go aggressively, unless mYinsanity really have a carry that falls behind. For now, they are going to pick up a Viper, and yeah, it seems unlikely that aggressive tri-lanes are going to come up from Power Rangers. mYinsanity, it might be an option for them, and if Power Rangers feel that that's what they're going to do, maybe they'll dodge and go into the aggressive tri-lane themselves, but it wouldn't be played aggressively.
Well, Power Rangers, like I mentioned previously, they kind of like the Legion Commander as well if they want to go for that one. Although so far, all the heroes are like reasonably tanky on the side of mYinsanity. Visage at the start not so much, but as he gets more points into the Grave Creeper's cloak, it's actually pretty hard to bring him down as well. Plus, of course, he builds usually for an Iron Scepter, which gives you some pretty nice stats and just raw health. But Power Rangers now, there's a tiny chance that we might see something like an IO Tiny as well in the mid lane with Witch Doctor, Shiro save. And they still have yet to pick up their offlaner. Batrider is one of the heroes that Cheshire Cat loves playing, so it can come out maybe a Centaur. Do you have just any preferences for offlaners that are still available?
Either of those two, the Batrider or the Centaur, sound completely fine. They offer a similar role inside the team fight, but I don't know, it's just delivered in a different way. Batrider is more about getting the other team out of position, and Centaur is more about getting everybody into position after position initiation. So whichever one they're more comfortable with or what they want to run. I'm kind of leaning towards the Batrider, but instead they go for the Faceless Void. With what they already have, it's a decent enough choice. Call down inside the Chronosphere as well as a Witch Doctor Death Ward offers a nice mix of both magical and physical damage, so I suppose this way of initiating is also acceptable.
I mean, mYinsanity, they don't have the craziest amount of things to just stop the Witch Doctor ultimate either. Visage Familiars might be the best thing to deal with it, but having to micro them in the middle of the team fight past the Chronosphere usually might be a little bit tricky for them. But mYinsanity, they still have 2 picks left as well. Too bad they don't or can't go for like supports like Vengeful Spirit or Shadow Demon anymore that could save people from the Chronosphere, just because support slots already filled for them. I guess you can push the Visage or Ogre as a core, but that's not the best thing that they go to at the moment, I think. They of course need an offlaner for themselves as well. Even a Clockwork is available if they want to go for it. I wouldn't have minded a Clockwork for Power Rangers, to be honest, just cogs into Death Ward, cogs into cooldown, anything like that. But for mYinsanity, if they want to go for the tankier route, I guess just Centaur might be it. But I can't even think of like one hero that is exceptionally good against Faceless Void or the Chronosphere. Maybe something like a Morphling with the Replicate out or Ember Spirit with the Remnant, something like that.
Yeah. I think the nice thing about this Faceless Void pick for Power Rangers is that even if the Faceless Void gets nothing since he is up against a tri-lane, that means that Gyrocopter is able to get farm, and if they go aggressive, then your Faceless Void's in a 1v1 lane, in which case he'll be able to get a decent amount of farm, and Gyrocopter, even without the items, can still do a quite significant amount of damage inside the team fights, just with his magical burst. Missile build is kind of the flavor of the month, as well as the call down and rocket barrage, so I think no matter what happens, Power Rangers should be able to get a decent amount of farm out of one of these cores, and then I think the only thing that could throw a wrench in that plan is if Ogre and Magi really roam very heavily, and it is an option, although it's not the greatest of roaming duos. They can make some things happen depending on who's in the lane to gank for them. So we'll just have to see. I don't know, I quite like Power Rangers draft all around, but mYinsanity, go for an axe.
Okay then, I don't think it was mYinsanity running the axe yesterday. Or maybe it was against Aftershock. I think they might have ran the axe even. It's safe to say it didn't work out too well. They were expecting other lanes as well. They were expecting like an axe against, I think it was a Temporary Assassin, but suddenly a Necrophos was mid lane against axe. In any case though, always a fun hero to see, just going for the Culling Blades, the dunks. Not too sure how well it's gonna fit in here. I guess if you get the Berserker's Call onto the IO, it should be a rather safe kill, because IO he's squishy as all hell. You don't really need a lot to bring him down, and if you get the first dunk in the fight, you're gonna get the extra movement speed, gonna be able to chase other people down and so on. So it might work out, but man, axe. How do you think they're gonna lane this?
Honestly, I have no idea. mYinsanity. With an axe pick, he's always kind of, I don't know, an X Factor hero that you can throw into pretty much every lane. I don't know where the ideal situation to put him in is, so that might work to mYinsanity's benefit. I think they'd like to get a tri-lane versus tri-lane scenario, especially now that an Enigma comes out for Power Rangers. That was not an expected pick at all. They already had the Witch Doctor and IO, and I'm suspecting this is a mid-Witch Doctor.
Oh man, I saw a mid lane Witch Doctor yesterday. I had such great hopes. I was disappointed to the max almost. And it can work out for sure. If it's up against like a Viper, it's not going to be too bad of a time, I guess. Witch Doctor just stays at the safe side of his own high ground and goes for last hits. Maybe it's Enigma like offlane something, I guess that can work out as well. Even Enigma mid lane has been played every now and then. But it's some nice lockdown for Power Rangers, I guess, although might be a little bit too greedy as a just last pick.
We'll have to see how they lane it. Enigma mid lane might actually work out for them, since Viper doesn't have any great ways to clear out the Eidolons, no wave spam. So maybe you'll be able to put a decent amount of pressure onto the Viper, but very unconventional to see this Enigma last pick, especially with the Witch Doctor and IO opening.
Well, at the moment, by the just player roles, I would think that it's still going to be Witch Doctor and IO supporting. Because Tichara, Cheshire Cat, as well as Chaslo, they are the cores for the team most of the time. I guess you can still change it up a little bit, just swap things around. But we shall see. I mean, I wouldn't mind just a core Witch Doctor going for that fast Aghanims. But Doombringer, last pick for mYinsanity. If you get it either on the Faceless Void or the Enigma before they get their ultimates off, they're gonna be just 100% useless in the fights, of course. But Power Rangers, they do have the IO that can just save them anyway, relocate them out. IO, of course, probably is gonna come back alone and maybe die, or maybe gonna come back with the hero with the Doom just expired. So that's something defensive for Power Rangers against Doom. And Doom, he doesn't get off to the greatest of starts usually, and even if you get the fast hand of Midas, you're still gonna take some time before you're actually properly fight ready. And with the axe for them as well, if they don't get the early blink dagger on axe, for example, their early mid game might just be hindered by too much.
Yeah, we'll have to see how it's going to work out for them. On the Radiant side is Power Rangers, and towards the off lane, we're going to have Cheshire Cat playing on the Faceless Void. Looks like our Enigma is going to be handled mid by Shachlo in the bottom tri lane. Farming is going to be Ditchera on the Gyrocopter, Sneeko of Lapida on the IO, and Witch Doctor played by J4.
As for mYinsanity, Hatawa on the Visage as they're looking to for aggressive tri lane, Milan on the Viper, leaving Lizard on the Ogre Magi, Mitch heading towards the mid lane on the Doombringer, and the last one will be Grisine on the Axe safe lane. I guess Faceless Void Axe is actually not a bad hero to send there, just because Faceless Void usually wants to go for a lot of just right click harassment with the time lock and everything, but Axe is just going to start spinning.
Yeah, I mean, these matchups are actually very peculiar and should be pretty interesting to watch as well. Faceless Void versus Axe, I expect it to be a fairly even lane. Both of them should be able to farm. If either of them go aggressively in the spins or the bashes come out, that could be a completely different story. Mid, Doom versus Enigma, you're hardly ever going to see this matchup, especially in the middle lane. And I'd expect Doom to lose this pretty handily. Inside the jungle, or rather river, we're going to have a couple of traded hits between Milan and J4, but the Rocket Barrage in Hatawa is doing a whole truckload of damage. Visage looks like he's going to be the first blood. J4 might fall as well, but Milan, he can't get there fast enough. The tether slow is going to latch onto him, and J4 is over by the Ancients. Ditchera is going to chase Milan into the Roshan pit. It is going to be a Roshan Eye on the Viper, but still Power Rangers getting the first blood and will come out very handily in that first exchange. However, J4 being bashed down by the Ogre Magi is going to get a paralyzing cast. The long-range Fire Blast and one more auto attack will spell the end of Witch Doctor's life, so at least they get something out of this trade, but still favoring PR, although Sneeko of Lapida is still being pursued by Lizard. He shouldn't be able to get that kill.
The level 1 Fire Blast pretty much does no damage at all. 60 damage, it's just nothing. And thank God that Milan got to deny himself to the Roshan. Without that, would have been so great for Power Rangers because they would have gotten that level 2 that much faster. And if you're in the tri-lane and the enemy gets level 2 a lot faster than you do, you're probably just going to get wrecked at least once before you manage to retaliate. So really crucial that Milan got to deny, as well as them getting the kill on Witch Doctor as well. IO unfortunately didn't have enough regeneration with the tether to actually keep the Witch Doctor alive, but still a pretty decent start. Top lane, Grisine already pushed out the lane just with a couple of spins, I assume. And mid lane, like you mentioned, just one of the matchups that you're probably never gonna see again, maybe even. It's like Doombringer, Enigma. How often do you even see Enigma mid? And even Doombringer mid isn't a thing these days, although definitely way more common than an Enigma mid.
Yeah, Enigma is controlling this lane very effectively, and I expect that to maintain the case. He can, every once in a while, devour one of the Eidolons, but that's about it. Doom can't clear those out effectively, so that extra damage is going to constantly keep Enigma ahead of the Doom, although for now it's fairly even. I expect him to pull ahead even more later on as the game progresses. Faceless Void versus Axe is more or less a wash, and bottom lane, I expect to be where we have most of the killing potential, at least until level 6s come out in our mid lane. But yeah, even though mYinsanity give up the first blood, I think they have the greater potential to get kills, especially if it's on the Witch Doctor or the IO. Fairly low armor and low HP heroes, if they get caught out, they're probably just going to fall flat on their face. We have a haste stream picked up by Hatawa, but it's on a Visage. They might be able to set something up if the supports are insanely out of position. They'll run into J4, but he's close enough to his tower that that's not going to net them anything.
And actually mYinsanity, they have a slight level advantage at the moment. Or at least it's a little bit more even because all of them have level 2. Ditchera is level 3, but J4 doesn't have the Voodoo Restoration. That would be a great asset for their just fighting capabilities, just keeping themselves alive. Oh, Hatawa, Paralyzing Cast comes out. Do they really want to keep on going? I guess they might as well. The stun onto J4. Tichara wants to come in close. Soul Assumption J4 almost down, but they stay alive. There's the Voodoo Restoration as well. Lizard drops low to the Rocket Barrage, and he's gonna go down. So it's a 2-for-1 trade. Power Rangers coming out ahead once again. And, well, Milan, if he gets a little bit more levels, gets more points into Corrosive Skin, he can also just go into the thick of things, maybe. But Rocket Barrage early on is just too crazy of a damaging spell.
Yeah, it really is, especially when you get isolated away from creeps like that. That's when Paralyzing Cask as well as Rocket Barrage really start to show their colors. That heal coming out from the Witch Doctor is actually pretty insane. With the Tether, it's effectively a level 3 Voodoo Restoration, and at 3 minutes into the game, that's really hard to eat through. And even though it didn't save Power Rangers there, they are going to come out ahead in the trade. But even so, the CS on the Dire Heroes is looking to be slightly better in the other 2 lanes, or at least even. I don't know, it's going to be an interesting exchange. Neither team really has a significant lead at this point, but I'd expect Power Rangers to maybe pull ahead. We'll just have to see how this bottom lane works out.
Yeah, in the mid lane as well, Josh actually dropped pretty damn low. The Doombringer tried to chase him down, but didn't have boots at the time, I think. And of course, Mitch, he hasn't gone into the jungle. He hasn't wanted to leave the lane for long enough. The supports, I mean, usually you start like the support comes into the mid lane, whereas Doom gets the first creep in the jungle and then comes to the lane. But since the tri-lane was so occupied, they couldn't get that. Lizard might be in trouble. Paralyzing Cask not thrown out yet. Tether movement speed. There's the Paralyzing Cask. A little bit too late. Not gonna bounce. They need the Tether slower. Do they? Rocket Barrage. Oh my god. The damage. Level 2 Rocket Barrage. They're gonna even chase down Hatawa, I think. A new Tether will come out. They're gonna go for the Rocket Barrage, and that's just an easy kill once again.
Yeah, it actually doesn't matter. Both of those supports getting isolated away with level 2 Rocket Barrage. That's their entire HP pulldown in one spell, and they have plenty of mana to sustain that. J4, however, might not be so lucky. He's going to get tethered up and healing quite a bit. He's actually going to survive. The Rocket Barrage being split by creeps. It's still enough to force back Milan, and Witch Doctor survives on the back lines. He might be forced back to base, or at the very least to eat through some consumables, but that actually doesn't matter. J4 is going to be completely fine, and yeah, Ditcherai, he's going for a more traditional gyrocopter build, but now Phase Boots might be safe, especially with Wisp backing him up. They're going to drop the Rocket Barrage. It's being split between 2 heroes, but Lizard's still dropping dangerously low. The chase down commences as they're going to be able to bring him down. Ditcherai falling low. The Voodoo Restoration not enough to save him through the Nitotoxin, but it's going to be a dominating spree for this Wisp as he mops up his 4th kill, being involved in 7 at 5 minutes in the game. It's an absolute bloodbath in bot.
Well, I guess we kind of expected this kind of aggression to come out from really both sides, although Power Rangers, I would have expected them to maybe go a little bit later for the aggression. Or, I don't know, like I said, mYinsanity, if they get the jump onto the Eye or Witch Doctor, they should be fine. But now this Witch Doctor is already level 4, level 2 Voodoo Restoration. Even the jump has to be nearly perfect. Mid lane, no, Chartlaw might be in trouble. Grisine coming in from behind. He has the Culling Blade ready as well. Do they have the Doom? No, they don't quite yet, but Enigma, nothing for him to do. Doesn't have a TP. Gonna get doomed up now as Mitch hits level 6. So just an easy kill.
Ooh, that was risky not to use the dunk there. He could have denied himself with Eidolons. They had more than 38 damage. In fact, all 3 of them were alive, but they still get the kill nonetheless. So it's going to be a nice rotation coming out from Grisine, Tranquil Boots, and it's going to be a Vanguard build coming out from Grisine. That's going to really help their survivability. And in lane, it's just going to be so annoying for Faceless Void to deal with. This Axe can play so aggressively and just casually walking by the tier 1 tower. He actually doesn't care.
Well, that's what you get when you have the Vitality Booster. No health regen, of course, but you have a pretty good base health regen. I mean, 4.2 health per second without any just regeneration items is pretty damn ridiculous. Faceless Void, don't even know how much he's sitting at, but probably a little bit less. But Dax, he's just tanking the creep waves like it's nothing, and Chisakat, he's gonna have to tank up the creep wave under the tower a little bit. Has a poor man shield of his own, so not gonna be that horrible, I guess. But, I mean, last hit-wise top lane is rather even-ish. But Axe, he doesn't even miss any, just because he is solo against the creep waves, and there's not even a chance that he's gonna miss the creep kills.
Yeah, definitely. Down and bottom, both teams are posturing a little bit, so we might see some action there, and I expect that to be our next kill, unless there's some crazy rune in another minute. But we'll just have to see. J4 is over at the side, and he's going to be bumped into by Hatawa. They don't have vision of him, actually. The tree is going to fog him out. Now with the Wisp Orbs out, let's see.
Well, mid lane, they're gonna go for Charge Claw again. They need the Berserker Skull. Oh, Grisine a little bit too late with that Battle Hunger. Had he had that before, and now bottom lane, Lizard dropping low, as is Hatawa. They're gonna get maybe even both kills. Lizard has a TP. Can he TP out? Milan already went, and never mind. Lizard doesn't even attempt it. Doesn't want to waste the gold.
There he goes with the Rocket Barrage and negative Urn tick onto him. Power Rangers find pretty much everything that they could want in that last pseudo engagement down in bottom, and Cheshla even survives in mid, so it's going to work wonders for them. Milan forced to TP away. This Viper, although generally thought of as a lane dominator, just hasn't been able to do much. Died twice, and his CS isn't that stellar anyway, and he's bought at least 2 TP scrolls, so I don't know, his impact this game is going to be fairly mitigated. Axis left the top lane for just a split second going towards mid, and Faceless Void's able to put some pressure on this tier 1 tower, but now with the TPN from the Axe, Cheshire Cat needs to be careful if he gets caught out by one too many spins. It is maxed out, and at this point in the game, that's a scary amount of damage.
No, it most certainly is. I mean, Axe overall, thank God for Power Rangers that his last rotation didn't work out. Like you mentioned, lots of free space for Cheshire Cat as well. He's going to run into Doom, who has the Doom available as well. Going to Doom Cheshire Cat. Is any assistance coming at all? IO not level 6 quite yet, Cheshire Cat. He's just on the run. Charizlo comes in, no mech. J4 with the Voodoo Restoration, make sure that Cheshire Cat stays alive. And now they want to turn it around. They had the Chronosphere ready. Battle Hunger is there. Berserker's Call. Will it land? No, not yet. Can they even use the Chronosphere? Oh, yes, they can. All of the others are just range heroes. Midnight Pulse is down as well. Cheshire Cat still on the run. Battle Hunger. Now the Ignite. Should be able to stay alive as Christine gonna be taken care of as well. Although 4 heroes killed him for like 10 seconds almost altogether. It's just crazy how tanky he is with just a single vitality booster.
Yeah, and once the Vanguard, that's going to get even worse for Power Rangers. Yeah, Cheshire Cat's going to survive now, juiced up by the Wisp. It's going to be pretty nice for them, and they'll find a much-needed pickoff onto that Axe. Yeah, Gyrocopter's been left alone up against the Visage as well as the Viper, but with the start he's had in his face boots, Shiro's able to keep himself safe even in a lane that should not be favoring him, and now with some extra help from Sneeko Flacvita, this is going to be completely fine for him, and they need to be a little bit careful too if they can peel him away from the creep wave, even though Viper is usually pretty tanky. With only 1 point in the corrosive skin and power treads, he's going to fall in the duration of 1 rocket barrage. It's not being completely maxed out, just 2 points, but that's generally enough.
Well, at the moment, Viper hasn't even gone for the corrosive skin, only 1 point into Cheshlo, just runs past a ward, so they know, but the relocate is coming in anyway. Milan nowhere to run. He has a TP, he's gonna have to chew like all hell, but no, never mind. Malphite comes out, Midnight Pulse as well, just in case. So that's a kill in Cheshlo. Up to 2.2k gold. Is it just a Blink first Enigma now?
Potentially. It looks like that's going to be his item choice, and I don't know, I wouldn't be opposed to the mechanism, but a Blink back hole is just so huge, especially when you can get it fairly early on. This isn't the fastest farming Enigma you've probably seen because he's in the mid lane. It's weird to say that usually a jungle Enigma is able to farm faster, but currently giving some room to Witch Doctor and mid. And he might just pick up that Blink Dagger. He has enough gold for it. Huh. I have no idea what Enigma is going to build this game. He's sitting on 2,400 gold.
Go Radiance Enigma, man. Best item. I still assume he's maybe hasn't made up his mind, just either mech or Blink to come out. Maybe straight off BKB even, just to be on the safe side. Although even BKB doesn't make you completely safe against Doom. So...
yeah. I mean, it's... the call from the Axe as well as the Doom will be able to pierce through that BKB, so I'm not sure if that's really the best item choice this game. We'll have to see. Cheshire Cat's going to get doomed up in top 2. They have the damage to bring him down. It's currently only the Doom wailing on him, and Cheshire Cat's still able to wear through this, but with a call and 1 spin coming out from the Axe, Cheshire Cat's gone. Even though the dunk doesn't come out, it doesn't matter.
Mitch has actually played pretty well at the moment. Number 1 in net worth by about 1k. Did the over and the Hand of Midas has been running for some time already. Now mech is finished on Cheshlo, so did decide to go for that item at least. It's nice if somebody else gets doomed, you can just mech them up and they'll probably be able to escape, at least together with the Voodoo Restoration being level 3, even maxed out before the Paralyzing Cask at the moment.
Yeah, I quite like this choice, especially with the IO. That's a ridiculous amount of heal. You can effectively double it, and that's 64 HP regeneration per second if you get that tethered target as well as the target inside the Voodoo Restoration. And inside a team fight, you can pretty much sustain Gyrocopter indefinitely. It's unlikely we'll be able to kill him, jump up in top, but now Cheshire Cat is going to get caught out inside the call boat to relocate in from the Gyrocopter as well as a Witch Doctor ultimate. Grazine didn't stand a chance.
Well, that was pretty fast and clean as well, and that's level 4 or level 7 on J4, level 4 Voodoo Restoration. The heal, like you mentioned, is going to be sick coming through the tether there. Just double heal, maxed out. Arcane boots on Soneko as well. And do they want to go for Hot Tower? I guess they do. Homing Missile has already been used. Not too sure if they want to dive or they might try. So Hot Tower TP's out, but Rocket Barrage, it had like 1, maximum 2 seconds of just time to actually work there, and already Visage dropped extremely low.
Yeah, it's not even funny. In the meantime, Ogre Magi up in top is going to be dived by the Witch Doctor as well as the Void, and they'll be able to take down this kill. PR currently just finding a lot more out of this map. The Doom's really the one exception. Time Walk over the trees into a Doom coming out from Mitch. Man, Cheshire Cat just can't catch a break. He's been doomed pretty much every time that spell is off of cooldown, with the exception of the Enigma. But now with the Voodoo Restoration, J4 can turn. Like, look at that heal. He's back up to full already, and they need to be careful if they get caught up by a Paralyzing Cask. Razine wants into this, but he just has the Vanguard. No blink onto this axe, and he's going to be forced away. It's really weird to watch these really beefy cores be zoned out by two supports pretty much solo.
Wow, and it's not only the heal, the Arcane Wounds on IO, just J4 back to full mana as well. He was rather low at the time, but suddenly you get 270 back charge, so gets the Malphite's mid lane onto Milan. Is he going to commit the Black Hole for this? Lizard is around as well, maybe if he gets the double one. There's the Paralyzing Cast going to bounce, oh, not between the heroes, but back to the creeps. Milan still dropping low death ward from the low ground. It's going to be enough with the urn, I think, or never mind, no it's not. Magic 1 to the rescue, he does make it out, just barely. Paralyzing Cask. I was so sure it's going to go to Ogre Magi, but no such luck.
Yeah, it was the Ogre and one creep in range for that bounce, and unfortunately enough for Power Rangers, it bounces to the wrong unit. But yeah, right now Power Rangers, they have a wicked 6 spree on their IO, and usually a support kill isn't that important, but if they kill Saniko, that could be a whole lot of gold going their way. IO needs to be so careful in these team fights.
Well, maybe he can do it, but he's pretty beefy as well at the moment, at least has the bottle as well as the urn to work with. And so far, he's stayed at the correct distance. He hasn't gone in too deep himself. Although, Doombringer has the blink now, so he might be able to catch IO off guard. It's not even the worst thing to Doom an IO, just because he cannot relocate, can't overcharge, can't do anything. But there are probably just better targets anyway on the front lines you can easily jump. And Mitch, does he want to go in? Oh yes, he's going to Doom up Charge Law. No Black Hole, no mech either. A nice target to go for. Paralyzing Cask will stop Chrisine for a little while. There's the cooldown as well onto Hatawa, and Chrisine Dichara, he's gonna go in balls deep, gonna get the kill onto Hatawa. While in the meantime, Chachra still alive with the Voodoo Restoration, keeping him alive. Mitch, can they get it with the last Fireburst? Nope, suddenly the mech, he's back to full HP. Black Hole only onto Lizard. Mitch makes it out, unless Cheshire Time Walk forward. Chronosphere on the high ground. Maybe with the tether movement speed, they see Mitch. Come on, Chronosphere. They don't want to use it, and there it is. They want to secure the kill. No Scorched Earth, even Death Ward used. Godlike for Soneko, man, this IO.
Yeah, I have no idea how Saniko's been able to sneak in those last hits for all of the kills, but he has, and usually he's not the flashiest of heroes, but this IO, he has a Soul Ring, Arcane's Urn, Bottle at 15 minutes in. You can't really ask for much more, and the sustain coming out from PR is quite honestly stupid. Like, you can't do anything about it. They were chasing for so long, and mYinsanity couldn't get a single kill with the enhanced mechanism as well as that Voodoo Restoration on tethered targets. They kept Shashlo alive throughout the entirety of that Doom duration, as well as like 3 heroes attacking him. That shouldn't happen. Up in top, they relocate onto Milan. Now he's eating the entirety of a Rocket Barrage. It's not the longest duration, but the cooldown is going to connect with the first tick. The second tick's not going to land, but does it even matter? No, it doesn't. One more attack from Dichira is going to end his life, and well, I was kind of hoping that we'd see Beyond Godlike for Saniko, but getting a Gyrocopter kill is fine.
God, this is just horrible what's going on at the moment. This IO has also been a part of 16 of the 18 kills. Just excellent stuff. So Neko, I really saw him play the IO yesterday and I was pretty damn impressed, and he's just shown in the game. He knows how to play it, just stay at a safe distance, and he is actually building a Soulstone, the Bloodstone. I thought with the Soul Ring, is it going to be a casual one or is it actually IO Bloodstone? And well, looks like he is man enough to go for it. Already has the Arcane Woods, as was the point booster, so really needs the recipe plus a vitality booster, and he's gonna have it finished. Oh my god, Bloodstone IO incoming.
I mean, when you think about it, it's actually a really good item for him. He'll be able to make sure that everybody on his team has maximum mana, and that would keep Witch Doctor with that Voodoo Restoration on pretty much the whole team fight, and that's ridiculous. And Saniko's going to be himself very tanky. Overcharge is pretty much going to be constantly on. I love the item choice. If you're already snowballing, just imagine if those 16 kills were Bloodstone charges. Saniko wouldn't have to go back to base ever. There's going to be a TP back to mid, attempting a deny. The middle tier 1 on the dire side was denied by the Ogre, but the Radiant tier 1 is not going to be so lucky, as neither Witch Doctor or Enigma are going to be able to secure that one. But for now, it is going to face this Void, bumping into 2, drops a Chronosphere onto literally nothing, and then bashes up the Doom. The relocate's a little bit off the mark, so they're going to have a little bit of difficulty chasing down Mitch unless they get a lucky bash. But with the missile coming through, it looks like this Doom is going to follow, though not as fast. He blinks up towards the north. He doesn't have any backup, however. they will decide against it. Io's back inside the enemy jungle, but time walk forward. They found Hadawa, and they're going to find his familiars as well. They'll bash him down. Mechanism on top of it, and they'll find a clean kill onto the Visage. And now looking to farm up these familiars. They should be able to get them 1 attack, 2 attacks, and that's going to be both of them down. They bring in their axe. He's looking for a call, but can't find it. The call down is going to be pretty nice on both Grazine as well as on the backlines. And the Rocket Barrage going through Doom onto Cheshire Cat, but he's already used his Doom. Now the Witch Doctor ultimate challenge for only a second was cancelled, I believe, by level death, but that's your beyond godlike for Sneeko as he cleans up the Doom kill on the backlines. Ogremachai is able to escape through the north, but still, Power Rangers, they don't lose anything.
So pretty much Power Rangers, they tactically let Doom escape at the start, just so mYinsanity would feel safe enough to go for the fight, and then just clean them up completely. I don't know, this game is just so damn crazy. mYinsanity, they can't get anything done against the heal from Power Rangers. They're really keeping everybody alive, with the mechs, with the urns, as well as the tether heals, and now Sonic, what, really? Is he really attempting this?
He has a haste rune, so why not? The Wisp Orbs, he might be able to kill Milan. The Mechanism's gonna keep him safe, and Io has to back out of there, but if your Wisp can even think about going for a solo kill on your farming Viper, that's a really sad game, and if you look at the farm levels for everybody on the side of PR, it's quite honestly ridiculous. The only one able to keep up with the net worth of the top ones on PR is Doom, and that's because he has Devour and a Hand of Midas. It's just not funny anymore.
Bottom lane, they got the Berserker's Call with the blink, but Chargelo's still alive, not enough follow-up at all. No lucky spins, or not too many of them now. There's the homing missile onto Grazine. Call down to follow. Will it connect? Yes, with 1 bounce. Milan just barely out of it. So they won't get any kills, I think, from this Milan. Viper Strike on cooldown, though, from using it on the IO, I believe. But there's... Oh, Chronosphere catches free. Beautifully done. Too bad there's no cooldown, but there's the Death Ward coming out. Chargelo goes in as well. The Black Hole to follow. Oh, that combination. Just, it's going to be a team wipe, most likely. Doom, not even present, but he most likely would have just also died.
Yeah, I don't think it matters that Doom's not there, and at this point, Power Rangers are just walking all over this game. I don't even think it's worth looking at the net worth and experience graphs at this point. It's GG. mYinsanity can do nothing. BKB popped by Ditchira. That was the first time he popped his BKB. It wasn't even necessary. It actually didn't matter. The rest of his team were just fighting so well, and Power Rangers, that was a dominating performance.
Wow, really, I mean, I guess that's what you would expect from a team like Power Rangers, although they struggle every now and then, but extremely well done. If it sets the pace for today, then Power Rangers also didn't have the greatest of days yesterday. So some wins under their belt, definitely gonna feel good. And Io, 10-0-10, the only hero not to die on their team, oh my god. But guys, this is gonna be it for game number 1. This is a 2-game series though, so mYinsanity, they have a chance to come back and just get revenge on Power Rangers, but we'll see if they manage to do so. So we're gonna head into game 2, but until then guys, hope you enjoyed the cast. If you did, be sure to follow us on HeflaTV on both Twitter as well as Facebook. The links are also below the stream. For the casters, it's at Coucher for me everywhere, at GrandisV for my co-caster. So check us out, leave us some feedback about our casting, and just see you in game number 2.